Hey babes, and welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another video. My name is Nikki for those of you who are new here, and for those of you who are not, welcome back. So today we're going to be doing a super glam. For me it was kind of holiday inspired, something that wasn't your traditional like red lip kind of holiday look, but still something very glam and pretty and gold and almost cranberry-esque, and just something that was going to look really good on a lot of different skin tones and a lot of different people. And I also decided to use the Makeup Revolution x Rachel Leary Ultimate Goddess palette. So I went into Ulta recently and I saw that they did have this palette available still, and that was one of the reasons that I wasn't like using this palette a whole lot on my channel, is because I didn't know if it was still available. But it is a really great palette in the sense that it has so many like complexion products that work for a lot of different skin tones. Like literally this highlight can go like as pale as possible, this blush as well. This bronzer works on so many different skin tones because it's pale enough but cool toned and like bronzy enough. I mean, it just like she really did a good job curating this palette to work for so many different skin tones. Not to mention it has a large mirror, great shadows, everything. So I figured why not play with it. So I brought it to my mom's house. I'm currently not at home right now, and I just thought it'd be perfect for a really fun like holiday look. So if you guys want to see how I got this look right here, then just keep watching, and happy holidays. All right, you guys, so I already have part of my makeup done, and that is because I'm actually in the middle, or I guess I already finished, a brow tutorial for my beginner series. So if you guys are interested in that beginner series, I will link it down below. Today was a brow day. I figured it was like time for that video in my beginner series. Basically what I did in that video was not only show you guys how I like do my brows once they're already cleaned up, but I also cleaned up my brows in that video and like plucked them and everything, and show you guys the process of that. So enjoy that little tidbit. I already primed my whole face basically with the e.l.f. Poreless Putty primer. Also, you guys, look at my little holiday nails. Look how cute they are. I'm obsessed. This little guy right here is from Ivy and Love, Ivy and Rose. I'll insert the brand right here. But basically that brand makes like nail sticker things, and that's this entire nail is like a nail sticker, and then I just painted the rest of my nails because I did my nails and I did them with a gel builder. So that was an interesting process, but I really want to like show you guys how I do my nails and everything. I just like to have that perfected before I showed you, really. So right now I just went in with the e.l.f. Jelly Pop Dew Primer. Totally forgot to mention that, but that's what I just put on my face. And I'm gonna go in with some Milani Make It Last. I don't have much of this left actually. I go through a lot of these really quickly. I want to, next time I like buy this, I want to buy the really large bottle, which is like almost like 2 of these. It is such a good like every situation spray. It's so good. So it is a like set, refresh, primer, everything. So going in with my LA Girl Pro Matte Foundation. First I'm going to take it on a foundation brush just to like disperse the, that is not a foundation brush, just to disperse the product, and then like drag it down my neck and everything. And then I will go in with a beauty sponge to really make everything look super seamless. Look at that. One of my favorite things about doing my makeup is putting on my foundation and like just complexion products in general. I think it's probably like it's just my favorite thing, like seeing your skin transform. I've also really enjoyed using a foundation brush because number one, it kind of gets the product on there quickly on your whole face, but also because I find that when I use a foundation brush, I'm able to like actually drag product down my neck in the best way and make it look super seamless. Okay, so I'm actually using the Haley's Beauty Sponge right now, and what I like to do is take just a little bit more product and then go in on like do my nose, because my nose and the crevices around my nose are always that area that like I have a little bit of problem with. Using a sponge, especially there, I find is like super necessary for me. So now that I've got that going on, I'm gonna go ahead and go in with some concealer. I'm gonna use Tarte Shape Tape today just because it is the only concealer that I like have right here with me. Also, I feel like I'm finally like getting to the bottom of this concealer. Like I've had this concealer for a while and I felt like it was just like never ending, honestly. I'm also going to go with my Haley's Beauty powder today. It's a really good powder. I love the Haley's Beauty sponge. It is the softest sponge I think I've ever used. So today I'm actually feeling using my sponge to apply my powder under my eye, so we're gonna try that. Sometimes this gets really scary for me and I'm like, oh my god. I've done this before and totally messed up my makeup because my sponge was too wet, so your sponge cannot be that damp. So that's like my one tip for this if you want to do this. But I do find that it sets the under eyes beautifully, especially if you have like drier under eyes. I totally recommend that. And then I'm just gonna take my, this is a Luxie 521 small contouring brush, but I find that this brush is way too like precise and like hard for contouring, but I like it for putting powder on my face because it kind of like gets into those little small crevices. I know it's like a super tiny brush to do this with, but I find that it like really just applies powder well, especially for the under eyes. The under eyes is the one area that I do not, especially, it's just because of concealer really, but it's the one area that I don't just go straight in with powder on a brush. And it's because every time I feel like I want to do that, it ends up creasing because there's not enough powder that gets applied. So next we're gonna bronze, and I actually want to do something different today. So I want to do a holiday look using the Makeup Revolution Rachel Leary palette. I saw that this was still at Ulta, so I know it's not like limited edition in that sense, and that a lot of you guys can still get it. And I actually think this is a really great travel product. So right now I'm at my mom's house, and I'm in Tennessee, which is not Georgia, obviously. So I love this palette from Makeup Revolution. It's a great travel palette. It has a really, really large mirror. Look at that. It's amazing. It has a full eyeshadow palette range, which is like colorful, neutral, everything. Has highlights, blushes, and bronzers. So we're going to use this today. So I'm just going to jump in with the matte bronzer here that's a little bit lighter. This is in the shade Blonde, and it's just like a really good contour bronzy shade. So we're going to apply this to the cheeks. I have this one pimple that I decided to pick out right before this video. So it's not seeming to like go away enough. So I'm going to take some face powder and just press it on this bottom portion of my cheeks here to try to like cover that up a little bit, but also it's going to make this part of my cheeks look more defined and like snatched and stuff. All right, so since my camera's dying, what I'm going to do is do one eye off camera, and then I'll be back to show you guys though. I'm also going to use this bronzer to contour my nose like I normally would. It's a super versatile bronzer shade because it's not too warm or too ashy, but like it's enough warm and enough ashy to like do both. I love really bronzy cheeks, especially for holiday looks. I think that like it's like a really nice way to make yourself look warm and like summery almost. So taking that same shade, I think Rachel Leary did a wonderful job at designing this palette. If you guys don't follow her, you totally should. She does like the most beautiful bronzy, like golden goddess vibes type of videos. So nose is sufficiently bronzed and contoured. I'm just gonna take my bronzer brush and like run it over my nose a little bit. Then for blush, I'm gonna take the shade Caroline, which has a little bit of shimmer, and I'm gonna apply that with a dual fiber brush. And I'm kind of taking that high on the cheekbones, and then in the center of my cheekbones, I'm gonna take the shade Rose. The reason I'm going in with the shimmery blush first to kind of like blend upwards into everything is because I find that that shimmer is really gonna like make everything look really seamless together and make my entire skin look really, really glowy. And I think that using this, or I know using a duo fiber brush to apply your blush at first makes it like for really like soft and diffused application. Okay, so Rachel Leary loves a glowy bronzer, so that's why she came up with this Bronze Glow bronzing shade. So also it really works for deep skin tones, which is awesome because it makes the palette more versatile. But I'm gonna just kind of pop that kind of like a little bit higher than my bronzer. I'm just gonna do what she does in that sense and kind of like go with that vibe because I know she likes it. And that's totally what she designed this palette for, so we're just gonna go with her inspo today. Makes that entire cheek region super highlighted and pretty. And then obviously to like really intensify my blush, I'm going to go with the shade Rose. Just kind of like lightly on the apples of my cheeks. And then I'll just use my other brush to diffuse it. I've also been liking a little bit of blush on the nose. Then at this step I'm going to spray my face and apply some highlight. So I really like her palette, but I have to say the one thing that I think she's missing in this one, she does have another palette that's much smaller than this, is a like champagne highlight. So I think for me, the shade Aphrodite is like the closest thing to what I would normally use. And it's like champagne-y, but like a little bit pink. So I'm going to use that. I mean, it's a beautiful highlight. It's intense. It's very pretty. It's just not like, I like something with a little bit more gold. But that's the beauty of having 3 shades in here. You can totally like dabble around and pick what you like. So, wow, she really did come up with a super intense highlight for this palette. I have to say I haven't really just ever used just that highlight when I've used her palette before, but like that's blinding. She did a really, really good job. Okay guys, so I know my camera died, but I am back. So I do have one eye completely done already, and actually I did go ahead and take the gold shade in the palette and I added that on top of the other one, and actually it created a really beautiful like highlight shade. So these 2 shades right here. I'm gonna go in with some Tinted Lip Plumping Gloss. I actually saw a girl talk about this on TikTok. So this is from LA Girl, and I actually got it for like $2 because Ulta was having half off of all of LA Girl products for Black Friday. And I love the consistency, but it's also like a plumping lip gloss. It's so good, you guys. Just like to throw in your purse. I keep mine in the purse and then I have a second one. But anyway, we are here today to do some eyeshadows, so let's get into it. I decided to create something a little bit more colorful, like sunset vibes. Because like, even though like it is like the holiday season, not everybody wants to do like a gold smoky eye. And this palette has so many beautiful cranberry shades. So I think that was kind of like where my vision went for this look. I'm just going to put some concealer on my lid. And I'm just patting it out. This brush from Real Techniques, it's called their like deluxe crease brush, I believe. First, which is this beautiful yellow shade right here. And I'm taking it in a super large fluffy brush. And that is going to be my very first transition shade. You can barely see it, but it does make a bit of a difference. Also, I did not realize how far you guys were, so sorry about that. Next, I am going to just go ahead and jump into the shade right next to it called Passion Fruit Martini. And this shade is just going to go right below that. I don't know if it's exactly necessary because it's pretty much the same as the other shades, but it's a super subtle like transition shade, so I figured let's throw it in there. Maybe it'll make everything else like help to blend a little better. Next, with the same brush, I'm going to go with the shade Tantastic right here. And this one, I know, yeah, this one does do something for sure to the look. And I'm just popping it in the crease, and then I'm going to diffuse it a little bit higher to just blend it into that yellow and the previous shade. Really just laying down some really warm transition shades so that everything else like blends really nicely on top of it. Next, I'm going to jump into the shade 666. So it looks like it's supposed to be a red shade, but truly it kind of looks like a red orange almost. And I'm just taking that on a fluffy brush from Wet n Wild. Wet n Wild honestly has some underrated brushes. I actually get a lot of these from either Five Below or the Dollar Tree. So super cheap brushes, and honestly this is like one of my softest brushes for like transition shades. It's so soft. So I'm just putting this all over like my actual crease, and then I'm just kind of like diffusing it upwards, and then I'm making sure to apply the most of that product on the outer edge right here. So next, I've never used this shade right here, but I'm going to go with the shade Boy Bye. It is a bit of a shimmer shade, but it's not super shimmery. And this really like was the shade that made me want to use this palette today. So I'm putting it from the like center of my eyelid out. And I'm kind of applying it with this like flat fluffy brush because I want to really like apply this shade as densely as possible. And then I'm kind of blending it upward into that previous shade. Really looks good to have everything really blended together. Okay, so then for the outer corner, I'm going to go with the shade 70%, which is a like almost black, I want to say. And then I'm also going to take the shade Indulge, which is like the brown contour shade. So the shade 70% is like a little bit too dark for what I wanted. And the shade Indulge was a little bit too light, but this just kind of like deepens up this outer corner, and I'm using a super small little precise brush, and I'm just kind of like placing that color down where I want it and taking my previous brush with that cranberry shade to kind of diffuse it up. It ends up being really subtle, but it adds like a little bit of depth to the outer corner of the eye. So then at this step, I'm going to stop what I'm doing, and I'm going to take some concealer and a tiny little concealer brush. Okay, so now I'm going to take the shade Ultimate Goddess. Now I have cut my crease. I'm going to take the shade Ultimate Goddess, and I'm going to use that to highlight my inner corner of my eye. And then I'm going to take the shade Driven, which is really beautiful, like champagne bronzy gold. And I'm going to put that on the inner part of my eye. This, to me, is probably the most beautiful shade in this palette, like for the eyeshadows. It's so gorgeous. And I'm just taking this shade all the way to the top. And then what I'm going to do to really blend everything out is go back into the shade Boy Bye here in the bottom corner. And because it is a shimmer shade, it blends really beautifully into that champagne-y gold. Okay, so then for the under eye, I'm going to take the shade Twerk. So even this shade is a little bit like of a shimmery shade, but I think the color is really pretty to just run under the bottom of the eye. So I'm just like loosely running that everywhere. I want to keep the bottom of the eye a lot more subtle. That way it makes the look a little bit more wearable. And then with the same brush that I was using earlier, that like really precise brush that I used for the brown. I'm just doing the like with no extra product. I'm using that on the outer corner of my eye. And then I'm just going to pop on some eyeliner. I love the Covergirl Major Matte Black Eyeliner, so I'm just going to do a little wing. And I also think that part of what makes this look as pretty as it is the like white eyeliner that I have, or like tan nude eyeliner that I have on the waterline. So that is the Rimmel Scandal Eyes in the shade Nude. So it's just a nude eyeliner. So many companies make really good nude eyeliners, but this is just the one I have. And you want to make sure like you actually like make sure that it looks intense, because that's like what really makes the difference, and it just makes the eyes pop. It makes it look doll like and subtle and super pretty. So now I'm just going to pop on some eyeliner because I really feel like this look needs it. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is just pop on some mascara. Right now I'm using the L'Oreal Voluminous Waterproof. This is a carbon black one. So I really don't like the waterproof one, but I also don't really like any waterproof mascara. And I figured I just need to go ahead and use it because I'm not just going to let it like sit there getting old in my collection. I figured why not. Actually, it is a really wonderful mascara, and I just like the original. I just don't like the waterproof one. I actually bought the waterproof one by accident, but this is actually a really great mascara for the lower lash line, because for some reason on the lower lash line, like it just separates my lashes and makes them look so pretty. Okay, so now I'm just going to pop on some lashes. The lashes I'm using right now are actually from Ioni. You can get these lashes at Dollar Tree. And sometimes I found them at Burlington, but like the actual like single lashes you get at Dollar Tree. If you guys follow Juicy Jazz in her most recent vlog, she just discovered these lashes, and I'm like, girl, it's been about time. Like, I've been talking about them forever, and I rave about them on my channel because, like, do you see this lash? I mean, it looks like an expensive lash, and it is $1 from Dollar Tree. So definitely check out your local Dollar Tree and see if they have them. A lot more Dollar Trees are beginning to have them, but definitely go to like your larger Dollar Trees. Those are typically the stores that have them. And this is the packaging that they come in. So this is the exact style that I have on my eye right now. Whoa, I just scratched my face. So all I did was actually just, they were a little long in the front, so I just kind of trimmed them a little bit with scissors. And that's like what really did it, because these are a very long and fluffy style, so I just trimmed like the extra long part of them. While my lash dries, I'm gonna go ahead and take my makeup remover and wipe off the lip plumper that I have on. I've really been loving it. I mean, it's like super intense. It's like the Too Faced lip injections. Like, you really feel it on your lips, like, but I guess you just kind of have to get used to it. So for this look, I think that a nude lip is like the way to go. So that's what we're doing. I'm gonna use the LA Girl Perfect Precision Lip Liner in the shade Cafe. If you guys follow me, you know that this is my go-to lip liner. Because LA Girl was on sale for Black Friday, I picked up an extra because it was literally like $2 instead of $4. But still, like $4 is incredible for a lip liner. They are so creamy, you can literally fill in your entire lip with them. Then I'm gonna go with the Maybelline Superstay Matte Ink in the shade Driver. So this is a super like nudie shade for me, but I think it's really pretty. And I'm just blending it into my lip liner, and then I'll just take my lip liner and kind of go over the edges. Don't really feel like going in with a gloss because, I don't know, it's kind of like fall, winter time, and for some reason that kind of makes me not want to go with a gloss. So I think this is good enough. Plus also just with the whole mask thing, like, it's just easier. So now I'm going to pop this lash on. The lash, like the key to lashes for me is making sure to let your lash glue dry long enough to where it's like tacky, it just like goes on super easily. Like, that makes it super easy to do. That's that. The last thing I'm gonna do is actually just pop on like the tiniest bit more blush. I feel like for some reason I kind of lost it a little bit, so I'm just gonna go with the shade Rosé and just kind of like hit my cheeks again. And that's about it. So last thing I'm going to do is set my face one more time with the Milani Make It Last. Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. It is such a beautiful look, honestly. I haven't just like sat down to play with this palette and created a look with it in a long time. I will say it's probably not my favorite palette. Like, it's a really great travel palette. But I like, sometimes I feel like when I'm working with the shades, they're not as intense as I want them to be, but yet every single time I've used this palette, I've come up with some of the most beautiful looks like ever, like so beautiful. And I think the complexion products in here are really great too. Honestly, she did a great job. It's just I don't love Makeup Revolution's formula for their eyeshadows as much as I like Morphe like shadows or ColourPop. for example, but needless to state, it is a wonderful palette and I think she did a really good job. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and I will see you all in my next one. Bye guys!